Behind me is where the registration is going to be set up. Just there. A few gazebos, and this is where we'll look after you. You'll come out of the gazebos, you'll cross this tiny little road. The road is only for access to the crematorium and the little car park, so it's very rarely used. But obviously, if your funeral course comes past, just wait, don't be silly. But you can then cross the road really, really simply, and then you get out onto the course, which is this way. Each lap starts with this little road crossing, very small little road crossing, and then you go down the zigzags. Of course, being an out and back course, whatever goes down must come up. As much as it's beautiful running down the zigzags on the way out of the lap, when you come back to the finish, you've got to run back up them. The bridge at the top there, that is where you start effectively. That's the height of the top of the zigzags. So that is what you are going up, well, when you're coming down, and then going back up when you return at the end of the lap. But as you can probably hear already, it's already much quieter. Just coming down this little bit makes it much, much quieter. And then as we turn this corner, we're then on to the Great Central Way proper. Behind me is where we'll actually start on the first lap. So rather than make a load of people go down essentially a single person zigzag within 20 meters of starting, we'll start a few hundred meters behind me, so that when we have that first lap, you can sort of go at a decent pace. But every other lap, you'll finish at the top of the zigzags that are behind me there, and you'll sort of essentially tap in and then come back down to continue for as many laps as you want to. I'm filming this in mid-April. You can see already a lot of the greens coming out, meaning that even in the height of summer, this path is always going to be covered. It's always going to be nice to run in, even if it is incredibly hot. There'll always be shade down here. It's always a degree or two colder as well, just because we're in a bit of a valley. As you can see, it's beautiful all year round. The surface on the ground means that even when it's been really wet, I mean, it rained last night, you can barely tell. Even when it's been really wet in the middle of winter, this is still perfectly runnable along here. You can wear trail, you can wear road shoes, either's fine. If it's the middle of summer, road shoes are 1000% fine. It's a tiny bit stony on the floor, I guess, but not really. So even if you've got sort of some thin racers, you'd generally be all right along here. It's really very beautiful down here. So behind me, you can see a bit where it's heavily managed. There's a group of volunteers that come down here that really look after everything. So if you don't manage it, it ends up looking like it does behind me there, just where the weeds essentially keep growing. But they manage these little clearings. It's really, really beautifully looked after. So although this is a disused railway, it is very much a loved and used walkway that is managed by a really just top group of volunteers. I think come down weekly and really look after this place. This is the second little section. This is sort of the swampland. As you come through, you can see very wet, obviously on the path, not wet, very wet in the swamp. Before they redid all this pathway though, all of it looked like that. You know, it's completely impassable. So they've really done a lot of work over the years here to make it very nice for everybody to come and walk their dogs or come for a little running event. You can see again all the hard work they put in making these fences, keeping this swamp so you can actually see the ground. Normally it's full of water as well, obviously in the winter. Just beautiful, really, really nice to look at as you go along. This is the one little hill that you'll see on the route, and this is because this is the old station. So this used to be Hillmorton train station. I'm now on the platform. Train tracks would have been down there. Very often, although not today, when I look at things, there'll be ducks and stuff in there, which is always quite nice. And yeah, so this is the old station. You can see the edge of the platform there. I don't think there'll be any trains, so I think you're going to have to run instead. as you go along, you go under 4 of these, I'm going to say Victorian railway bridges, which are always very pretty, really nice to look at, and just break it up a little bit. Obviously 4 on the way out, 4 on the way back. So given that this is an out and back course, effectively you're going to get up to where that tree is on the right. Obviously this will all be heavily marked. We'll have a marshal up here on the first lap as well, just to make sure you know where you're going. But you get up to this point and then you just turn around. You turn around and you get back to the start. So then you go back underneath all the bridges, up the zigzags, over the little road, and then that's the end of the lap. And then if you want to carry on, then obviously you can then carry on. If you want to stop, you can stop. If you want to just sit and wait for 5 minutes and have a Jaffa cake and a crackers and cheese or whatever we've got, then do that. But this is the Rugby Great Central Way course, and these are all the best bits, hopefully. And these are just a small selection of the highlights. Obviously I haven't videoed the whole course because that would be a bit monotonous, but I've given you a flavour of what you can expect. Just for completeness, this was filmed late April 2025. Car parking here is a bit different to our normal. It's free for starters. There's a massive car park here. They'll easily hold enough people that are coming to park for the event. If you're coming in something big, there are height barriers, however, but there are a couple of spaces behind me there if you've got something that's big. Alternatively, if you're not able to park here, you can street park really simply over there, and there's loads of just residential roads to park on. However, I do not see any reason that anybody should have to do that. We've got plenty of parking for the cars. It's only if 25 high top camper vans. I don't see why anyone's going to need to do that, but there's plenty of parking, and that car park is, I don't know, 200 meters, 100 meters from HQ. So if you want to leave your bits in your car, then you're welcome to. Obviously you can leave them at HQ as well, so you can do that and we can look after you. But if you wanted to leave stuff in your car, you can also get that done as well.